happy Thursday, January 26, 2023, and welcome to a pre-Royal Rumble edition of what we like to call the Clash of Le Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kirk Cadet, in the flesh as always, and he is...
This is none other than his tag team partner, Jonathan Randall, at your guys' service. And ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed we're on the horizon for the Royal Rumble. We're only a couple days away. And myself and Kirk Cadet are going to give you our predictions. We're going to go over Raw 30th anniversary, which happened this past Monday. So let's get to it, Kurt.
Yes, the Raw 30th anniversary was this past Monday, and the show began with Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart. And Hogan's mic kept constantly going out throughout his promo, which was not a good look.
Jesus.
Yeah, but it was just his usual shtick, like, let me tell you something, Hulkamaniacs, what you're gonna do when Raw 30th runs wild on you. The typical Hogan shit he always does.
Right.
But whatever, any excuse I can find to listen to his theme music, I'm not gonna complain about, so no big deal. And then the show began with the trial of Sami Zayn.
Oh. What the hell?
Which would mark the first trial in Monday Night Raw's history since the Eric Bischoff trial of 2005.
Oh my God.
That I know you remember fondly.
Oh yes, I do. So let's speed us up, catch us up. What happened during this trial?
Well, basically, Heyman was like the prosecuting attorney and basically like put a compilation of different clips over the last few months of like Sami Zayn doing shit to like fuck over the bloodline and cause them issues. And then right as he was about to be convicted, Jey Uso, of all people, stopped him and put his own video montage together of all the times Sami Zayn saved their asses and like was there for them and actually like made a difference for them.
See,
So
that's good.
of all the freaking people in the world to save Sami Zayn's ass, who would have ever thought fucking Jey Uso?
I mean, come on. I mean, after what we saw at a Survivor Series, Jay had a new heart on things, a new sight on Sami Zayn. So I mean, that's not really a surprise to me. If this was like before Survivor Series, then yeah.
I don't know why. I want to see like a buddy action comedy between these two now.
Oh God.
Shit would be mad dope. Usi hour. Usi weapon. Anyway, okay, enough for that. So Roman decided to not convict Sammy. He decided that Sammy wasn't guilty for now, but he made it very clear that he didn't want to see or hear from Sammy until Royal Rumble.
Jesus. A lot of tension going into this Rumble.
Yes, very high tension between the bloodline right now, and this is definitely gonna lead to some shit going down Saturday. I can definitely feel it. But after that happened, we did have the tag title match, the Raw tag titles, that is, with the Usos defending against the Judgment Day. But in the middle of the match, Jimmy Uso got injured to the point where he could not continue. And as Adam Pearce was about to have them forfeit the championship, Sami Zayn decided to step in and be Jey Uso's partner.
Oh, wow.
Temporarily, we got them as a tag team to square up against Judgment Day, and to no surprise, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn retained.
Oh, do we know the status on Jimmy Uso's injury, or how long he's going to be gone, or how serious it is?
It's fine. It was just a part of the show. It wasn't a serious injury. It was just a part of an angle to get Sami Zayn in there and do it that way.
I feel you. Okay.
Yeah, so now this makes things a little more interesting on Saturday. I know for a fact something is going to happen. Either during the Roman and Kevin Owens match or during the Rumble match itself.
I think it may be the title match, though. But we'll get into that later once we do our predictions, though.
Yes, and then after this, we had LA Knight come out for a segment kind of talking all this shit about Bray Wyatt. And then all of a sudden, the gong goes off.
Huh.
And we know what that means when that happens.
Right.
It was The Undertaker, but it wasn't The Undertaker as the dead man. It was The Undertaker as the American Badass. As Kid Rock played in the background, Undertaker came out on the motorcycle in his old school American Badass gear.
Wow.
And rode that motorcycle to the ring.
Wow. I know the crowd.
It was crazy, man.
I bet. I know the crowd was hyped for that.
Yeah, I liked it, but I gotta be honest, man. Like one of the first like shot of him coming out like in that whole gear again and the bike again, I got flashbacks of the movie Wild Hogs.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness!
Dead ass. I'm dead ass.
Wow.
I could see a movie now with like him, Kane, and Godfather and JBL like go on the road on the fucking motorcycles and get into a bunch of shenanigans.
Oh my goodness! You said
Wild
JBL. I
Hogs
mean,
Part
I thought
2.
you said like just the whole group of BSK. I want to see JBL in that group.
Whoever, Undertaker and three other people. Who gives a shit? All right, but anyway, Undertaker came out, and then after that, Bray Wyatt appeared. He was standing behind LA Knight as he was trying to escape the Undertaker, and then he threw him back in the ring. And as Undertaker was going to chokeslam LA Knight, he threw him over to Bray Wyatt, as Bray Wyatt did the Sister Abigail to him. And Undertaker could be seen whispering something in Bray Wyatt's ear as this all was going down. And a lot of people have been speculating ever since what that was.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it might have been something along the lines like, "Damn, Vince really fucked shit up for you, didn't he? Now let's prove him wrong."
Oh god.
Yeah, because there was something coming out like that after WrestleMania 31, the match they had that
Hmm.
year. Taker supposedly told Vince after that match to take care of him, referring to Bray Wyatt, and obviously we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
turned out well
he had his
afterwards.
moments. He did get the title, admittedly, a couple times, but just in
Too late.
general, yeah, the booking of that character really hurt him, really hurt him. But that's
Yeah.
in the past now. And also on Raw 30th, we were supposed to get a cage match between Becky and Bailey.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Instead of it being a
I
cage
remember
match,
that.
it was just a beatdown from Damage Control on the Becky, and then they just laid her ass out, and then that was the end of it. The match never started.
That I don't know what was the whole purpose of that. I was really looking forward to that match.
Well, apparently the reason why they didn't do the match was because the Usos and Roman segment, all that shit like ran way too long, so they had to cut something from the show,
Oh,
and what got cut from the show was that match.
unbelievable. I mean, stuff like that happens. I know stuff like that happens. I mean, it always has happened, for years. You go back to the This Is Your Life segment between The Rock and Mankind. That segment went over their time limit. You know what I mean? So,
And
I
even
mean, it
like
happens though, but it is a bit messed up though at the same time.
and even in the most recent episode of Young Rock we saw with the Rock and Triple H ladder match from SummerSlam, they were supposed to end the match a lot sooner than they did, but then they just ignored their cues and they just kept going.
Wow.
Same thing happened with the Razor and Shawn match at WrestleMania 10. The 10-man
Yeah.
tag that was supposed to follow it got cut from the show.
Yeah.
And Randy Savage bitched them both out afterwards.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's another story for another time. So yeah, everybody's like really pissed off about the fact that this match got cut, and like the whole WWE give the women a chance. Some hashtag was like going off, and it was like trending and whatnot. And even the Bellas like started speaking out against this on an Instagram live, basically talking about how like they didn't really do right by the women on the show, and they didn't really
Mhm.
mention a lot of women that they should have mentioned, like Sasha and Saraya,
Wow.
and how like they were supposed to be on the show initially, but then like a week before they took them off like the cover of like the promotional poster for it, and then they had them doing media and shit all week because the reality show about Nikki Bella marrying her husband's supposed to drop like this week, I think. So they had them like doing promotion for that, and then they were told that WWE had nothing for them for the Raw 30th, and they ended up not being on the show because of that. And yeah, they were basically just going off about that and about how like yeah they didn't really give the women the chance the way they should have, and how it was like very disrespectful and like not courteous to like the women who paved the way, like the Trishas, the Vitas, Chinas, all that jazz. And
Right.
Brie Bella said something interesting in it, saying that when you do things that they don't want you to do, they're not happy about it.
I mean, I don't. I mean, can you blame him for saying this? I mean, it is a bit messed up. This was a big marquee matchup on the card. It's on the Raw 30th anniversary show, and it gets cut due to an overlying segment. So everybody's professionals here, but I think you have to be very mindful of what they're doing. You know what I mean? And another thing that kind of rubs me off the wrong way, Kurt, you got to remember, Raw is a 3-hour show now. Well, it's been like that for the past 10 years, but it's 3 hours,
Yeah,
and
and even with those damn 3 hours, they still didn't have enough time. Holy shit.
right. So you got to look on that aspect. Like, okay, you have a show for 3 hours, and you still wasn't able to manage to make time for that match. Like I said, I was looking forward to this match.
I was too, but I guess that's what they needed to cut from the show. I don't think it was like a whole agenda against the women or anything like that. Like it's kind of being made out to be. Granted, it
It
sucks. It sucks the match got cut. It sucks that it happened that way. But I just think more than anything, yeah, it was just a whole time constraints thing. Although if they were
I,
gonna cut something from the show, there's something else I think they should have cut that I'll get into later.
Thank you. I think if it's something like small or not something unnecessary, you cut that out. But I'm saying is like when you have like a big marquee matchup, you can't risk cutting that due to overlapping segments or whatever. You can't do that.
I mean, I could have done without Hogan's cameo, but I mean, it is what it is.
Right, like stuff like that, like small stuff. Like you can't
And
like
also later in the show, Charlotte, I'm sorry, Ric Flair came out and introduced Charlotte, and then yeah, Charlotte came out and cut a promo, and then Bianca Belair came out to cut a promo too, and then Sonya Deville came out and interrupted both of them, and then Sonya Deville
mm,
ended up having a match with Bianca, and Bianca beat her, and then Bianca and fucking Alexa Bliss had like a back and forth, like as Alexa Bliss was on the screen and shit. Yeah, like if they were gonna cut anything from the show, they should have cut that. All due respect to those women, but if there was going to be anything that got cut, it should have been that because the women's match between Becky and Bailey would have been advertised a week before and whatnot. So if you're gonna have to choose between cutting a match you've already advertised over something you didn't advertise, I would pick the latter.
right.
But the one tweet I
Mm.
did see that was interesting about this whole thing was that they're more than likely saving like all the women's surprises and whatnot and women from the past for the Rumble match.
As they should.
So that
I
is
mean,
more. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
as they should. I mean, that's something that they always do every year. But man, that I mean, let's be real. If I had, it's really not a women thing. It's just like just in general. If you have a match, a big marquee matchup on a card, right? And if it gets cut because of a segment or that just overlapped, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off about it.
Yeah, like the main thing people were upset about was the combination of that match getting cut, and also like them not really referencing like women from the past throughout the show, or like any classic women's moments throughout the show, and not having like any of the women from the past really there except for Alundra Blaze. So yeah, like those aspects of it got
Mm.
criticized. But like I mentioned before, maybe a lot of these women we're gonna see at the Rumble match on Saturday, so it will be more fresh to see them in the Rumble match as a surprise, as opposed to if you already saw them on Raw Monday.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but it's not like 2015 when they had that 30-second match with like the Bellas against Paige and Emma that like got everybody really riled up and the whole give divas a chance hashtag like went all viral. And that's like when like I guess the point when like people like really started to say like yo they need to start treating the women better. This is ridiculous. And then I feel like from that point on, that and the combination of like the matches with the women in NXT, like that's what like really started to spark like the women's evolution or whatever they called it, or evolution.
Right.
Yeah, God knows they give it like a thousand different names or and whatnot. But there was like this whole debate going up online about like how much the Bellas like really contributed to that whole evolution and like how like popular the women became and like how much more TV time the women got as the years have gone on. And my thing is, the Bellas aren't my favorites per se, but I do realize that they did contribute a lot, and they were two people who became stars outside of WWE.
And then a new show coming out, correct?
Yeah, I'm saying like, do you think they've like really contributed much to the like whole evolution of the women, or do you think they get too much credit for it?
Oh no, they get no. To say they get too much, no, they get well deserved credit for it. It's not just the two of them. You know, you got to remember, you got to. It's all a group thing in a whole situation. In anything, they take credit for it, but I don't want to say they take too much of it.
Yeah, they get a lot of flack. They get shitloads of flack, and a lot of it is undeserved. I believe. I believe a lot of it isn't fair.
Yeah, you can't. It's unfair to put all the credit on just those two because we're forgetting about others.
No, no, no. It's about like you know how people give them shit about like not being good, not being talented, just like being in it for themselves and having like their own selfish
Well,
agenda, and that,
if they weren't,
and also that they're only as successful as they are because of who they were married to and who they were dating at a specific time, etc.
no, that has nothing to do with it because they were talented and very were a what's the word? They were damn, what's that word?
Marketable.
Yeah, well, marketable. I was about that, but it's another word. They were very they were
The
attraction,
twin shit.
an attraction. That's
Yeah.
the word.
The
Yes,
male or female, the twin shit will always be marketable, especially if you're attractive. That twin shit will always be marketable.
they were attraction, very attraction. I think I really love the feud that they had with Stephanie McMahon during the summer of 2014. That was really good for them.
Yeah, that was a fun feud. Yeah, it was. I agree.
Yeah. Of all the feuds that they had, that was something that kind of like they really like pushed them. You know what I mean? So
And I thought Nikki Bella was pretty good in the ring too. I think she was better in the ring than she got credit for a lot of the time.
right. I mean, granted, yeah, they got what like way more attention after their careers because yeah, they got a reality show and yeah, because of who they were married. But that doesn't change the fact of the success that they had in the business. They still had that same attraction, that same stardom that they had in the ring versus what they had outside the ring.
Yeah, and that Total Diva show did wonders for them, bro. Because I'm telling you, I know girls who like don't even watch wrestling who know who they are,
Right.
and that's saying something, bro. Like people would say that shit about The Rock, about Austin, about Hogan, and for people to also say that about them, that's some elite company to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anytime if you're like a wrestling star and like people who don't watch wrestling know who you are, then yeah, that's a big deal.
Thank you. That says strong. That says strongly of who you are because like you said before. I mean, I even knew this. Like my mom, for example, like she doesn't watch wrestling, but she knows who The Rock is or anybody else. You go to anybody else. You just say that one word. Like Hulk Hogan. Like people know. Like they know who Hulk Hogan is. You know what I mean? So that says strongly.
Yeah, they just have that star power, and star power is a big part of wrestling. Very,
Right.
very big part of wrestling.
Right.
But also, what happened on Raw was another DX reunion. We don't get enough of those.
All right, let's be the last one.
Shit, wasn't there just like one 3 months ago for like their 25-year anniversary?
There was. Oh, I'm messing around. Yeah, there was. That's what I'm saying. I thought that was going to be it, but I mean, it is the
Yeah,
30th anniversary overall, so it's really.
but conspicuous by his absence, instead of Billy Gunn being there as a part of DX, he was replaced by Kurt Angle.
Uh. Ah. That's weird. That's weird. I'm puzzled by that.
That was a thing. Like they played it off the whole time. Like they didn't really realize he was there. But then as Triple H is like getting into the shtick in the middle of, he's like, "Wait a minute, Kurt, where the hell did you come from?"
Okay, I mean that is kind of funny though, but that is weird at the same time though. But go on.
And then Kurt Angle's response is like, "Oh, I always wanted to be in DX, and
Oh
since you
my
guys are
god.
short a guy, I figured I could replace him for you."
Oh my god.
And then as they're getting into the whole shtick, Imperium comes out to confront them.
Hmm.
And then Triple H gets into Gunther's face, like and like steps to him, acting like they're gonna brawl. And then in the middle of it, Triple H is like, "Dude, I'm retired. I'm good."
This is
And then they're like saying, "Sean, you want a piece of them?" He's like, "Nah, man, I'm good. I've been retired longer than you." And then Road Dogg's like, "Nah, I'm good. No, thank you." And then they're like, but Kurt will fight them. Only Kurt, you'll fight them. And he's like, "Nah, bro, you guys are on your own. Nah, I'm not fighting these guys."
pretty funny.
Yeah, I like how they did it that way in the sense they like realized, oh, we're too old. Those guys will fuck us up. As opposed to like if let's say Vince were still writing the show, they would have like DX like pour like the DX slime all over Imperium
Right.
or some shit like
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
So instead, they had Seth Rollins and the Street Profits come out to take on Imperium for them, which they did and ended up winning the match.
Okay. I was about to ask you, I was like, man, it had to be somebody from the locker room had to back up DX. I mean, come on, it ain't just gonna let Imperium just just take the like take the night like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and they had like a bunch of backstage shenanigans with like the APA, like having a poker game with like all the legends, like making cameos and shit. Like,
ah,
oh, and Teddy Long came out to announce the tag match stipulation at the end of the segment.
you didn't mention about the anything about the Undertaker.
No, 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 because you know how like Teddy Long would always put people in tag team matches.
Yeah.
They had him come out to announce that, like as they were about to make the match, Triple H. Actually, in the middle of the whole segment, they were like looking at Triple H to like book the 6 man tag. He's like saying, "What the hell are you guys looking at me for? This booking shit isn't easy."
Oh my god.
But I have somebody else who could who could make the announcement for this match and make it official the right way. And people thought for like a second when he said that he was referring to Vince, but luckily it was Teddy Long who came out and Teddy Long made the match official. Yeah, but so yeah, they had the poker games in the back, and I think Baron Corbin like won a bunch of money, but then from the $1 Million Man, and then the IRS came to collect as the tax man, and he pretty much took all of it.
Oh god. That's kind of funny that IRS shows up and we're literally in the it's about tax season is about to start.
I heard like at the Raw 15-year anniversary, he was like one of the last men, like in like a Legends Battle Royal, and like the $1 Million Man paid him to eliminate himself.
I don't think I remember these 15. Oh wow.
Like
Oof.
2007, yeah, that was in
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
2007.
yeah. That's yeah. I remember, but I'm just trying to. Maybe I do remember that. I don't know. This has been a long time.
Anyway, in the main event, we had Bobby Lashley against Austin Theory for the United States Championship. And as Bobby Lashley looked like he was about to win, we had the return of Brock Lesnar.
Man, I was wondering when he was gonna come back. He's been gone for a while, and I was like, Royal Rumble's coming up, and I'm like, haven't heard from Brock in a while. I mean, what's he been up to? But okay, so now that you tell me, it's good to hear that. I know that the feud between Lesnar and Lashley is not over. So
Yeah, so Brock came out, gave an F5 to Bobby Lashley, then F5 to Austin Theory
yeah,
onto Bobby Lashley to get the pin, and Austin Theory retained his title.
good God.
Yeah, so Raw 30th was cool. It had its enjoyable moments. But I'll say overall the best Raw anniversary show or whatever they've done as far as these type of shows have gone, hands down was the Raw 1000. Never be another one as good as that one.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And you know what? We look back at that one, Kurt. That was a. It was bit. You could say it was like it was good though, but at the same time, moving forward, because that was the end of an era. Because after that, we went 3 hours after that, and it hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, the beginning of the 3 hour Raws.
Yeah.
Yes, but we do have the Royal Rumble this Saturday night from San Antonio,
But
Texas at the Alamo Dome.
yes, we do.
And let's get into our predictions real fast. So, in the lights out match, we have Bray Wyatt against LA Knight. Who you got?
Pitch black match. I don't know how they're gonna do this though, but like I said the other week in our last episode, this is something literally just it looked like something Vince McMahon did. But anyway, I have Bray Wyatt winning.
I do too. It's his first match since he's come back. I
Yeah.
don't think LA Knight will be hurt by a loss. This feud has already done up much better for him than anything Vince was doing with him with that whole model Rick Martel ripoff bullshit he was doing with him. But I'd rather put that in the past. LA Knight, I feel like, has done his thing in this feud, and I feel like even if he does lose, he'll be okay, and he'll definitely continue to build more momentum. But I think Bray Wyatt does win.
It'll make him look stronger if he loses.
We have Bray Wyatt winning. And oh shit, looking on my social media, there's been a special added celebrity bonus match.
Really?
For the 100% control of the show Undisputed, we have Skip Bayless against Shannon Sharp. Who you got?
You know that's a lie.
They should have a mixed tag at
No.
WrestleMania. For Skip Bayless and Tom Brady against Shannon Sharp and LeBron.
What?
A tag match.
Oh my god.
And Will Smith versus Chris Rock. If Will Smith wins, he gets reinstated into the Oscars.
Thank you.
All right, I'm talking shit, but who do you think would win if they had that match?
Look, I'm just thinking about Shannon Sharp versus Skip Bayless. I think that's something has meaning to it versus the
I'm dead
others.
ass. I'm not joking when
Um,
I say this. I'm dead ass. If they could use that for an angle for Mania, I would be down for it. I would be down for that shit.
for Shannon Sharp versus Skip Bayless,
Some shit
yeah.
along those lines, yeah, bro. That I would be more than down to watch that shit.
My God, Shannon Sharp will definitely win. That's not a no brainer, dude. Shannon Sharp is a former football player. He still stays fit. You know what I mean? And come on, man, like that's
But Skip Bayless be going to those aerobics classes.
oh
Pilates.
yeah, that doesn't overweigh what Shannon Sharp has done in his career. So
Maybe he did like Mr. Miyagi type training, like some mental type shit.
oh please.
Painting fences. Learn the way of the fist. All right, no more. I'm talking shit. All right, we've spent enough time on this. All right, but anyway, okay. So for the Raw Women's Championship, we have Bianca Belair defending against Alexa Bliss.
Bianca Belair is gonna win. Um, she's gonna go into WrestleMania as the champion. I don't see what's the purpose of her losing. So Bianca's gonna win. She was gonna retain her title.
Yes, I agree. Bianca will retain, but I feel like they're definitely going somewhere with this Alexa Bliss character, and I'm trying to see where they're gonna go from here. But I
Mm,
don't think she needs the title. I do not think she needs the title,
no,
and I don't want to see Bianca lose the title like in a feud like this.
no.
I think if there is a place for Bianca to lose the title, it should be at WrestleMania this year against the winner of the Women's Rumble match, who I will tell you my pick for in a second.
Okay.
But yes, we have Bianca retaining. And for the undisputed WWE Championship, we have Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens for the third time at this event.
In the same building.
Yeah, the first one was in the same building, the Alamo Dome, and
Yeah.
that was a good match too. That was a very good match.
Right. Um. Yeah, Roman's gonna retain, dude. They're not gonna have Kevin Owens lose. To win. I'm sorry. So
I think somehow Sami Zayn gets involved in the finish in one way or another.
yeah,
I'm not sure how it's going to go down per se, but it's definitely going to be something like controversial.
yeah.
That's either going to like make Roman trust him more or make Roman trust him less.
Hmm.
Because they're already building the tension between them. And the next pay per view in February is going to be in Montreal. So I feel like if they were going to do a Roman versus Sami Zayn match, it would be at that show.
You do know that they'll. It's most likely they'll have them to defend the title in the chamber. You know that, right?
It's possible. Or yeah, Sami Zayn could be in the chamber match. I'm not sure. It
Right.
could play out that way too.
Yeah.
But
Because I don't.
I think he gets in.
I highly doubt they'll do a one-on-one match. Like they're gonna
They,
do
they
that.
could. They did it last year with Roman and Goldberg, and for the women too. But we'll see what happens though. But I think Roman does retain, and Sami Zayn somehow gets involved in the finish. But now I'm like a lot more intrigued for this match than I was 2 weeks ago with the whole Sami Zayn aspect of it.
Yeah. Roman's gonna win, but I'm just very curious how the finish is gonna be. Now that you mention this, now I'm very curious how Sami Zayn gets involved. Is it gonna help him in a positive way, or is it gonna be where it kind of almost costs Roman a title? So I'm looking forward to that. That's a good point that you made.
Yes, but there's just a problem on Saturday. There's so many good basketball games coming on Saturday. It's going to be kind of a time constraint, especially a
Oh
very good one at
yeah.
8:30.
Oh yeah. All those three games coming on. Yep. Ah.
Lakers and Celtics.
Mm-hmm. Just multitask. Watch
Yeah,
it.
Lakers.
Watch it on your TV and watch the game on your phone or something like that.
Nah, I'll probably record the games and watch them later.
Yeah.
I record the games all the time. It's actually better that way. You get to fast forward through all the commercials and timeouts.
I feel you. I feel you.
The halftime show.
Got you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I also got to go to the Hawks game on Friday night. The Hawks and Knicks game.
Oh yeah, I saw your videos. Look like you had fun.
Yeah, it was dope. I mean, unfortunately, the Knicks didn't win. They blew it in the second half, but it was nice to finally go to a Knicks regular season game for the very first time.
Nice. Yeah.
Also, the State Farm Arena for the first time too.
Hmm.
Home of the 2002 Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the Rumble show, we also have the Women's Rumble match, and they haven't really announced that many people for it. Like, there's like pretty much a very small handful of
That's a
women
bit
that are going to
weird.
be in it. But I feel
Yeah.
like I know who the winner is going to be regardless.
Rhea Ripley.
Yes, Mamacita herself, Rhea Ripley, will be the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble winner, and I believe her and Bianca Belair will go on to face each other at WrestleMania, and I cannot freaking wait for it.
Mm. I can't disagree to that too, even though recently I said it would be cool to see Raquel Rodriguez win in her home state. But I would say that they will be the last two in the match.
Yeah, because it would be cool if Becky won it, but she's already won it before. I don't think she needs it. And
Right.
I kind of wanted Rhea to win in 2021. A part of me wanted her to win. And since she didn't win that one and she came so close, I feel like now would be the right time for her to get it done.
Yeah.
And she has a lot of momentum going on right now with the whole Judgment Day thing and the Dominic Mysterio stuff and
Yeah.
whatnot.
I would like to see Raquel be the last, like the last one of the last two, or if not last four. You know, she's like still brand new to the company. Um, I mean, she had a title shot not too long ago, so to for her to kind of get that little bit of like a push in her home state, that would be good for her, and I'd love to see that.
Maybe it'll happen. But I do stick to my pick. I think Rhea will win the Women's Rumble and then go on to WrestleMania.
Okay.
And as far as surprises in the Women's Rumble match, I think I definitely see Beth Phoenix probably coming back.
Okay.
I could see Naomi returning.
Hmm. Hmm. I think Naomi coming back would be like the biggest surprise of them all.
Oh, for sure. That place
Yeah.
would go ape shit if she came back.
Yeah. You got to watch out for that.
I was thinking Natalia, but I found out today that she's more than likely not going to make it back in time.
Got you.
Maybe Trish and Leader, one or the other. Maybe one of them.
Yeah. We're always
But
gonna throw
so
a legend in there though, but I think Naomi coming back would be like the biggest surprise of them all.
Mercedes Monet, I don't think that would happen. That'd be crazy if it did, but I don't think that'll happen.
No, 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 no. That's no. That wouldn't
But
happen.
if by some miracle that did happen, she would definitely be the hands pick winner. Too much
Yeah,
momentum right now. Too much
of
momentum.
course,
If
of course.
All right, but any event, I have Rhea Ripley winning the women's rumble, and now for the men's rumble.
Okay. Despite with all the BS rumors that we've both been hearing and how bothersome that is for me to hear that, I'm still picking Cody Rhodes to win it.
I picked Cody Rhodes to win the rumble as well. I feel like that's the most logical conclusion of this whole thing,
Yes.
and I don't think anyone would get a bigger or better reaction than him, except maybe Sami Zayn.
Mm,
But I would say besides Cody, the only other person that would be a logical pick to win would be Sami Zayn, I think. Because apparently the ratings were really high for that segment on Monday, like super high to the point where there's an argument you could make for Sammy being put in that picture.
I'll look at the segment. I kind of understand what you're saying though, but it kind of, and I understand the fact that it was a very high rated segment though, but at the same time, I just little bit we're forgetting about the Cody story from this past year. So
Yeah, there's just too good of a story to tell with that, and I feel like it would be a really missed opportunity if they just had him come all back all this way just to not win the Royal Rumble. That would be a huge bummer.
right, thank you. Right, right.
Yeah, I love the Sami Zayn storyline going on right now. It's great, but I just gotta stick with Cody. I'm sticking with Cody.
Thank you.
And I still do believe that Austin will make a cameo. I have a strong feeling he's going to make a cameo.
Of course, that would be cool and funny though at the same time. But yeah,
Yeah, I think Austin definitely will make a cameo, especially considering that he wasn't on the Raw 30th anniversary show. I feel
Mm.
like, yeah, like if when you think of like the face of Monday Night Raw, like the one person that comes to mind when you think of that show, Austin's definitely that main name I would think of personally, and a lot of people would agree.
I mean, if there was a Mount Rushmore of Raw, Austin's already like the first person you could put up
Yeah, I
there.
guess, yeah, Austin, Cena, Triple H, I guess. Yeah, I guess Triple H. And Rock, yeah, Rock.
Yeah, I was trying to think of somebody else. I mean, I don't know. I'll pick Sean over Triple H to be honest with you because Sean has been on that show for a long time. He was on the very first episode and he was on there, Jesus, God knows how long. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and had so many great matches on Raw. Like I was like actually watching this list of like the best Raw matches from each year of Raw, and the majority of them from each year were all Shawn matches.
yeah, see, I gotta, get my point. I have to put Sean over Triple H on
Yeah,
that one.
and probably the best Raw match Shawn had was the one with Cena in '07. That's probably the best one.
Oh yeah. And originally that wasn't supposed to be because it lasted for an hour. It wasn't supposed to go that long. I forgot why. It was something that, if I remember correctly, somebody there was supposed to be a match that night and it didn't happen.
Edge and Randy Orton,
Yes.
because they were
Thank
gonna do the
you.
4-way at the pay per view.
Yes.
That was also here in Atlanta.
Right. That didn't happen, and then Sean's and Zena's matches literally lasted for like an hour.
Crazy man.
Yeah. But great match though. It was amazing.
Also, another great match he had was the one against Triple H on Raw at the end of
That
'03.
was in San Antonio.
Yeah, it was. I think that was better than the match at Royal Rumble was that the next month.
Why? Because of the finish?
Yeah, just in general, just a better match. Yeah, it was just a better match.
Yeah, I gotta watch that match again.
The old, yeah, from the '04 Royal Rumble, it's cool, it's good, but it's just like I wouldn't rank it as like my favorites of like the matches they had with each other.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been having fun watching these old Rumbles the last couple weeks. I watched the 2021 actually right before we got on. That's definitely the best one like of the modern era, I'd say. Of like the last decade or so, that's by far the best one.
Okay, I had to. 2020 was good though, but I still have a soft, strong spot for 2017. I loved 2017 so much. I love that show.
I'm talking about the Rumble match, not the actual Rumble pay-per-view.
Shit, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, the Rumble match in 2017 was a letdown. Well, the outcome was at least.
Because we weren't expecting Randy Orton to win it. We kind of just like, okay, it's cool that we won, but it really wasn't no feel good moment to it. Is that what you're trying
Mm.
to say?
Well, that also I found out earlier that day that he was more than likely going to win, and I just felt like Jericho should have been the one who won that year with the momentum he had
Yeah.
and a storyline with Kevin Owens. It's like and he never won a Royal Rumble in all the years he's been in the
Yeah.
company. It's like, bro, you couldn't give him at least that one. But I heard the story that they promised Randy Orton the title for the match he did with Brock at SummerSlam, where Brock like busted him up and all that.
You know what? Not only that one, Kurt, you say that he should have won in 2017, and I agree, but also he should have won in 2012.
Yeah, that one too. That one also was the one she probably should have gotten.
Hmm. He had just came back, and and then afterwards they had him feud with Punk going into WrestleMania. So yeah, they should have had him win that Royal Rumble that year.
Yeah, but it is what it is. There's a lot of people who should have
Yeah.
won Rumbles that didn't. Yeah, Jericho, Mr. Perfect was supposed to win in 1990, but then the story always came out that Hogan politicked his way into winning instead.
Oh Lord. Oof. Imagine how amazing that would have been if Mr. Perfect had a Royal Rumble winner on his resume. That would have been just perfect.
Yeah, and it's crazy for us as like high up on the card as he was that year and being IC champion. He lost all the pay per view matches he had that year. Hell, a majority of his major matches he lost that year.
Sheesh.
Yeah, if it wasn't for his IC run in '90, yeah, it wouldn't be considered one of his best years, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah, perfect winning in '90 would have been great. Hell, even Warrior winning that year, I wouldn't have had a problem with.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think Macho Man should have won in '93. All due respect to Yokozuna.
Uh, no, because no, having Yokozuna to win that year was the right decision. Honestly,
I feel like Brett and Macho Man at WrestleMania is a match that we never got that we should have got.
To the chagrin, yeah, that would have been great. But I think they're trying to do something different. They're doing things differently that year too, though. Things that we're accustomed to seeing now. Like you don't see a heel win the Royal Rumble. You don't see a heel win
Wait
at
a minute.
WrestleMania. So,
Wait a minute. Oh, heel won the Royal Rumble the year before, Flair.
oh yeah, shit.
Get your facts right, buddy.
I don't know. They're just doing something different. You gotta remember, Yokozuna was new, and they were trying to like just because they saw something new, they saw potential. They were like, let's go with this. So that was like the reason why they went with it. So I didn't have no problem with it. But looking back, when you reference about they should have did Savage versus Hart at Mania, I'm like, now I think about it on hindsight, like that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because in all honesty, it would have been a great match. And also, it would have saved us from that finish where Hogan came out and won the title 3 minutes later.
Oh God, I can't believe it's gonna be 30 years in a couple of months.
Oh
Jesus,
shit! In Vegas too, in freaking Vegas too.
yeah.
Oh god, 1993, a great year for movies, a horrible year for wrestling.
Ay.
Yeah, back to Rumble winners who maybe should have won. I always heard Brett was supposed to win in '97, but it kind of got leaked that he was gonna win. So to change it and surprise people, they made Austin win the way he did
That
instead.
was a weird one.
Yeah, because freaking Austin ended up not even going to Mania and fighting for the title, and then they had the whole Final Four match. Then Sean got hurt. Yeah, the whole thing was just all over the place.
Well, yeah, and just it's how the whole sequence started was just weird. That's what I'm trying to mention reference to because Austin got eliminated at first, and he comes back in and he eliminates Brett, and he's like, "Huh?" It was weird.
And Brett was hot after that. He was fucking hot. He's like grabbing
You
Vince and
can't
like
blame
yelling
him.
at him and freaking kicking shit. Yeah, and
Can't blame him.
freaking. But Austin's performance in that Rumble was really good. Like even with the finish side of it, yeah, that performance was really good.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. There's been three Royal Rumbles. Well, maybe should I don't know. Maybe I should ask you after the Royal Rumble, but because I wanted to ask you, like, what is your favorite Royal Rumble in San Antonio? Because there's been three so far. This Saturday will be the fourth.
Okay, shit, that's a good question. Um, it's hard, but if I had to give an edge to one, I would maybe have to give the edge to 2007. 2007.
I agree. I agree.
2017 was a good show, but the thing is, 2007 had a better Rumble match.
Right. I like 2007 a bit better though because I love the Rumble match, especially the ending. I definitely love the last man standing match between John Cena and Umaga.
That puts it over the top. Just those two things alone put it over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Taker and Sean sequence is considered the best Rumble ending of all time.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and I was watching a list of like the top 10 Iron Man performances in Rumble history, and you know what got ranked as number one?
Okay. I don't. He's either two people. He's either Chris Benoit or Rey Mysterio.
No, neither one of them. They were in like the
Oh,
top
oh,
five, but no.
oh. Wow. Ooh.
Kane in 2001.
I was about to say that.
I keep forgetting he had the Iron Man performance that year. I just always remember that he eliminated so many people, but I keep forgetting that he was in there for like almost an hour.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, he's mostly remembered because of how many people he eliminated.
But yeah, he was in that shit forever, bro.
Yeah, but
And all the way until the end. And he made it all the way to the end until
yeah, yeah,
Austin eliminated him.
yeah. But I kind of forget that how long he was in that match, but because I overlooked that because I think about of how many superstars he eliminated. That's why.
Yeah, that was a good ass performance.
Yeah, it was.
That whole Rumble was great.
Oh yeah.
From Kane's performance, the Big Show return to the freaking Austin and Rock stare down, the Drew Carey cameo. But
Oh,
it was just a fun, just a fun Rumble match, and overall a fun show
it
too.
was. It was.
Yeah, those first three pay-per-views of 2001 are like the best like three pay-per-view trilogy you'll ever see.
Mm.
Yeah, Kane's performance, but yeah, the Flair from '92 was number two on the
Oh,
list.
okay. Yeah, yeah. That's not a surprise. As well deserved. So, um, what is the worst Royal Rumble that you ever seen? I'm not talking about match. I'm just talking about as an event.
Last year's is up there. Last year's was pretty bad.
Last year's. Oh, okay,
Yeah, it was
okay,
pretty bad. Yeah, it
okay,
was. Other than the Roman and Seth match, yeah, that show wasn't very good. Yeah, it was not very good.
okay.
2014, how could we forget about 2014?
Right.
2015, with the exception of the triple threat title match.
Mm-hmm.
2006, I heard is pretty whack. Actually, you've always told me 2006 was kind of whack.
It was.
I was actually watching the Rumble match from 2006. It's cool, but it's I wouldn't rank it as
The match was okay. I just it's remembered for the ending, an emotional ending, which I love.
yeah,
But
but
just overall,
as a Rumble
like
match,
the
as a
match,
as a Rumble match, it's not as good as '05 or '04.
no. But I'm as far as like the entire event, I did not like it.
Yeah, I always heard like not such good things about it.
No, even though it was in Miami though, but still, it just wasn't good.
Yeah, those are the main ones that kind of stick to mind. Like as far as the pay per view itself, those are the main ones that stick to mind. But let's get to some of the
Yeah.
best ones, the best pay per views.
2000,
2000's a classic, man.
2001. Yeah,
2001's
yeah,
great. 2002 is also fun.
yeah,
2002 is also a fun Rumble.
yeah.
Also, the most bought Royal Rumble in pay per view history too.
Which one?
2002,
Okay.
crazy. I would have never
Um,
thought.
yeah, yeah. Love. As you mentioned, just like a couple minutes ago, I love 2004 and 2005.
The
Um,
Rumble matches on those shows were good. The Rumble pay per views were fine, but the Rumble matches I think would stick out most on those shows.
I could sit down and still watch those fondly. So I still love those 2 years.
The one thing that's hard to
Um,
watch on '05 is the beatdown of Daniel Puder. Damn, son. They roughed
hazing.
his ass up. Oh,
Ha-
shit.
Talking about hazing.
Oh, man.
Um,
Would hate to be a rookie coming into that locker room back in
yeah.
those years.
You
Fuck
know
me.
what? We forget. You know what? You know what? Royal Rumble we don't really mention a whole lot.
Which one?
2008.
That one was good too. I watched it last week. It was good. I don't like it as much as some of those other ones, though. I just not as high on that one as the other ones.
I mean, they just talk about how Xena came back and won a Royal Rumble, though. But I mean, we kind of, I mean, the Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy was a decent match.
But I heard that people were
Um,
like let down big time when Jeff Hardy didn't win. Like I heard that you could literally hear like the whole energy like get sucked out of the building when Randy Orton got the pin.
uh, oh man,
I mean, in hindsight, it ended up being the right move because Jeff Hardy got like suspended not too long afterwards. But still,
yeah, but he will. I mean, it didn't start off right for him that year, though, but it did end it well for him later.
yeah.
The last month.
I'll say the '08 Rumble's fine. Like as a pay per view, it's fine. The Garden setting is like I kind of like think what kind of makes it good more than
Yeah.
anything.
I think maybe
And
if
as
it was
far
in a different city, it probably would have been like, eh. Yeah.
it would have been like, yeah, well, still it's okay. It's definitely
Yeah.
not it's not Royal Rumble 2000. Not even close.
No, no, of course not. No.
People speak highly of the '09 Rumble for some reason. People like always speak highly of the '09 one.
You know what? That's another. You know what? Despite when I always talk about how bad 2008 was, right? I watched that Royal Rumble. It's been years since I've watched it though, but when I first watched it, I actually liked it. You had a match with it was Edge and Jeff Hardy, and then you had that shocking twist in the end when Matt Hardy turns on Jeff. You had JBL versus Xena, where because Michaels was like his pretty much JBL he was using Michaels to help him win his matches because so he could help him financially, and then Michaels turns on JBL because that was, and then the Royal Rumble match itself was good.
All right, so other good ones, good as far as like really good shows. To '91, I always rave about. '91 had a really fun energy to it. I'd say best Miami crowd for a pay per view for WWE besides WrestleMania 28.
Okay,
Yeah, because Slaughter's ass had to wait till like 2 in the morning to leave the arena because they were ready to get his ass.
Jesus.
Yeah, but yeah, when Slaughter wins the title on that show, yo, that was genuine heat, genuine fucking heat.
Don't blame. Let's not forget that arena was in the. You said it was in the hood too, so that doesn't even help.
Yeah, bad neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah, and when Macho Man like clocked that scepter over Warrior's head, like he literally knocked him out.
Damn.
Yeah, that shit was nuts. And then Virgil turning on DiBiase finally, that got a nasty pop.
Mm. Holy crap.
Yeah, the turning point in Virgil's life and
Yeah.
highlight of his whole career. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the Rumble match itself is nothing to write home about. But Hogan winning at the end was like a nice way to send the people home happy and shit. So
Okay.
it was what it was. And it wasn't official, but that was the first time the winner of the Rumble went on to get the title shot at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
2017 was a good show.
I was about to say 98.
98 was cool. Yeah, 98 was fine.
Okay.
2016 was also fun. 2016 was also a fun show. That's when AJ Styles debuted. That's when
Oh yes, and
Roman was.
Jesus. When he got eliminated by Triple H, that crowd went complete berserk.
Oh, Roman, yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, when they eliminated Roman.
Jesus, I wasn't expecting Triple H to win. That was kind of like a what he won. And you know what? That was the first time since '92 where the Royal Rumble, where the title was on the line.
Yeah, it was, and they were like trying so hard to get people to like cheer for Roman and get behind Roman, and it
Oh,
was kind
great.
of starting to work a little while before that. It was like kind of starting to work, but then in this Rumble match, when they had him get laid out by like the League of Nations, and then he had to be helped out, and he was gone for most of it, and then he didn't show back up again until towards the end. And it's like even
Mm-hmm.
Bret Hart said it himself, like they just ruined him as a character that night.
And that show was in Orlando.
Orlando, yes, it was. That's where the 1990 Rumble was too.
Yeah.
And the 90 Rumble match is great. That's like one of the top 10 best Rumble matches, hands down.
Mm,
The star power, how they really start to build angles for Mania throughout that match. Yeah, it's dope.
I feel you.
It would have been nice if Perfect won, but overall, it was still a fun Rumble match. And the Hogan and Warrior stare down, that shit was monumental for that time.
Right.
And then obviously the 92 Rumble is considered a lot of people's like favorite Rumble match itself.
That was a fun one. I remember watching that one, and that was fun to watch. I love Heenan's commentary, though. Jesus.
Yeah, everyone's saying that was like his best night on commentary, hands down. That was the
Really?
like how Kobe had the 81-point game. That was Bobby Heenan's 81-point game for commentary. Was that night? Speaking of Kobe, Royal Rumble that kind of relates to Kobe happened 3 years ago today, which was the 2020 Rumble, which unfortunately happened the same day as Kobe Bryant's tragic death.
Can't believe it's been 3 years, man. Yeah, and we mentioned this before, in our past episodes. You could, ladies and gentlemen, you could go in our archives on Spotify or and to look. But yeah, I remember, where I was and what I was doing, and I found out from you, Kurt, because I didn't believe you at first. Um, just long story short, you always will send me, stories like every day, and I honestly, I'm gonna be straight up with you, Kurt. I wasn't gonna look at it at first because I was like, I need to get up and start my day and get some breakfast or whatnot. But I was kind of like, all right, let me just look at this real quick, and then when I looked at it, I was kind of like, no, it can't be true. I thought it was like this has to be like a fake. It has to be a fake story. And the article that you sent me was from a legit source. I was actually doing some journalism work. I was kind of like, this can't be the right source. It has to be from a fake source. And I looked it up and all over, and it was true. And I was just speechless and just completely devastated. Like, and the thing is, like, and it was with his daughter. And you got to remember, Kobe was only 40. He's still young, and the thing that really hurts me the most is that he literally had was you could say he was just starting his life outside of basketball. You go back to what 2 years after his retirement, he had won an Oscar for like a short film that he made. His daughter is playing basketball. I think he's one of the ambassadors of the WNBA, where he's trying his best to pretty much make the WNBA, just very prominent and is just as good as the NBA. So he was pretty much starting his life outside of basketball, and just to see that end so abruptly was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was terrible, and yeah, just the fact that his daughter was there with him, and along with seven other people, it was just a
Yeah.
horrible, horrible moment, a horrible day.
Even I remember during the Royal Rumble match, like no, not the match, but the event. Even, Michael Cole, even references he gave a tribute and told everybody about Kobe Bryant for a brief moment, and that it was just
If I could describe that news in one word, it would just be surreal. Because I saw that headline and I just said to myself, like, no, this can't be true. Like, he just like tweeted yesterday about LeBron surpassing him on the all-time scoring
yeah,
list, and I checked Google and Wikipedia and it's all there. I'm like, fuck, you can't be serious. And then when I go on my Facebook, like just literally a minute later, it's all there, all the headline after headline after headline, post after post. Yeah, that shit was inescapable, and I just couldn't believe it. Like we've dealt with this a lot as wrestling fans multiple times with like multiple wrestlers who died out of nowhere that we grew up with, but like I never really dealt with this as a basketball fan.
no,
So that part of it was like very strange and very shocking to me. And I'll say this is like one of the few deaths that I've seen, like celebrity deaths in my lifetime, where like the whole world just stopped.
yeah.
This, Princess Diana, and Michael Jackson were like the three celebrity deaths where like pretty much the whole world stopped, and that's like pretty much
I
all they
I
talked about for 1 week straight.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you about that because I remember Princess Diana died in '97, correct?
Yes, she did.
Okay, yeah, I fondly remember that. Like it was just all like forever. They talked about that forever. And I remember that, and I was only like what 5 years old at the time, like 4 or 5 or whatever, and just I was like, damn, like this must be very very serious, and it was. And then you go to Michael Jackson. I found out afterward. That was just devastating. It was just like, oh my god. I was like, and then this with Kobe was just, yeah, you're right. The whole world stopped when these celebrities left the world. It is not necessary like as a like even if you're not really like a big fan of basketball, you know who Kobe Bryant is, and you're just devastated just to hear this.
Yeah, it was just a dark day, just a very
Yeah.
dark day, and you saw like everybody talk. You saw like everybody showing their love and support, and like talking about like what Kobe meant to them and the impact
Yeah.
Kobe had on them, and how
Hmm.
like they became players because of him. It's
Yeah.
crazy how influential he was too. That's another thing about him is that like you really saw, especially after this happened, how influential he was in a lot of people who became players and
Yeah.
we still watch today.
Yeah, and the good that you mentioned influential because he didn't just influence fans and people just if you're an athlete. He influenced you like if you're just to motivate you in life, period. The whole Mamba mentality is not just a sports thing. It's not just an athlete thing. It's a life thing too, though. You apply yourself in life situations. So yeah, he had a very strong influence on just people in general, whether if you're an athlete or not, whether you're young or old. He had an influence on you about life, about the motivation and on and what to do and everything.
Yeah, and it's an impact that that's gonna live on probably long after we're even gone. Yeah, that whole Mamba
Yeah.
mentality, that's
I
basically something that just people have really adopted and like really attached themselves to ever since, and it's a
yeah.
beautiful thing in that regard. And just like all the murals and all the different like drawings and like letters and poems and whatnot that people wrote for Kobe, like after it happened, that they put all over Staples Center and all the prayers and stuff and all like the candles and vigils they did for him. Yo, shit was
Mhm.
insane, man. Like this dude, like when you talk about people who had an impact on the world, like to that degree, that was definitely him, bro.
Yeah.
And all through basketball.
When I was watching the Lakers documentary on Hulu this past year, you're talking about throughout the history of the Lakers, but when it got closer and closer to the '90s, when it got closer to Kobe, when it got to Kobe, it was just it felt I don't know, it felt like just like I can't describe it. It was just like they got to Kobe and you're kind of like damn, and then you're happy to hear that they're talking about this guy, and then when especially through, throughout his career with his time with the Lakers, but once they got closer and closer towards his retirement, at the end of his retirement, and then when they got to the point where when it happened, it's just like damn.
It just hits hard, bro. Like you know where the
Yeah.
story's going to. Like when you watch those documentaries now, but like one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but once
yeah.
it gets there, you're like, fuck, it really had to end like this.
Especially when it gets closer and closer, because when you know the whole time, the timeline of everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess in a way, I also felt that way when I was watching the Macho Man's documentary, like when his DVD came out,
Mm.
like when they show like him and Elizabeth's relationship, and you see how like in love they were, and how like big of an on-screen presence they were together, and then like seeing how her life ended, and then his life ended later. Like you know what's coming from watching the documentary, but then once you get there after watching the older stuff, you're like, fuck,
And a part of you, and a part of
that's
you,
how it ended.
honestly, a part of you, I don't know if you felt this way, but I felt this with Kobe. A part of me was trying to avoid it, like just I don't want to get to that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a part of the story, and yeah, 3 years later, it's like it's pretty much a day that'll always live in infamy.
Yeah.
Although that event was very sad and very tragic on that day, there was one great moment that happened later that night during the Royal Rumble match, the 21st entrant, Edge made his return to the ring after a 9 year hiatus. And bro, when I talk when you talk about genuinely good moments, not just like good wrestling moments, but just good moments in general, like when you see one human being like succeeding and finding their happiness and you're happy for them, it was that shit. It was definitely 100% that moment.
Wasn't expecting that, and that crowd went crazy, and the back of our minds we're all thinking, Edge is never going to wrestle again, as he said, and just to see him, like I was just like, no, like this can't be true. That I think that was something that we needed, because again, you got to remember, like Kobe had just passed away that day. You got to remember, like wrestling fans, that at the end of the day, there are the wrestling fans who are big sports fans, and everybody knows about Kobe Bryant. So the whole world was just stopped. And as a wrestling fan, we're just like really we have a dark cloud over our head. But seeing Edge come back, it kind of like it really okay. We needed this.
Yeah, it was just like a spark of hope in a very dark time when people
Yeah.
needed it most, and it was great, especially just to see the look on his face when he comes out, like when he's like literally about to cry. Yeah, because like you think of like when he had to retire in 2011 because of the neck problems and how like sad he seemed when it all happened and how like
Hmm.
it was so abrupt and sudden, and he was the champion at the time, and then like there was like pretty much no hope and no chance of him ever returning. He even said that multiple times that they would never clear him,
Yeah,
and then fast forward 9 years later, that shit happened.
I know. And what's really crazy? So there's three things that I think about when it comes to that day. Of course, like Kobe, Edge returning back to that Royal Rumble, but also about that Royal Rumble, Kurt. I don't know. Was that the last time that we had an event with fans before COVID for a pay per view?
They had like elimination chamber after that, but yeah, that was like the last major one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. It was like the last major show we had in front of fans until the WrestleMania the next year.
yeah.
It's crazy. I'm actually watching the 2021 Royal Rumble right now, and the women's one, and it's crazy. I think this is the first like pandemic show I've gone back to watch in a long time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because a lot of people say they can't go back and watch those shows.
Really?
Yeah, there were some good matches on them. I'll definitely say that, but a lot of people like online they maintain that they can't go back and watch those shows now. They consider it like just a very dark period for wrestling, probably the darkest that we've probably ever gone through.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to
Understandable.
go. Yeah, I mean, it was like just a shocking turn of events that year because we had that we had Kobe and had a Edge returning back, and then about what 2 months later, and then the whole world is shut down because of COVID.
Yeah, that Rumble match was great with like Brock like dominating the first half of it, like eliminating like 13 straight people. This shit was crazy.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I remember
eliminated
that.
Strowman,
Yeah,
eliminated Keith Lee.
and then Drew McIntyre. We forget to mention, that Drew McIntyre won that Royal Rumble, and that was just a good moment for him. That crowd went crazy.
Yeah, the moment he won was great, but the main thing people will remember most from that was when he eliminated Brock. The pop he got when he
Yeah,
kicked Brock
yeah.
and knocked him out of the ring. Yo, that shit was epic.
When that happened, I knew, yeah, he's gonna win.
That's definitely top 10 eliminations in Rumble history. No
Yeah,
argument need to be had.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just an epic moment. And then, but it's sad though, watching that 2020 Rumble, like almost half the people in that Rumble match aren't in the company anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, there was a lot of people I pointed out there. I'm like, yo, this dude's not around anymore. This dude's not around anymore. This dude's gone. Yeah, shit's crazy. And watching the
Mm,
2021 Women's Rumble, and almost half of those girls were out of the company like within 3 months afterwards. Yeah, shit's crazy. But yeah, very bittersweet day. Yeah, probably one of the most bittersweet.
it was
I would say the most bittersweet day entertainment wise I ever experienced from like a basketball standpoint and a wrestling
right.
standpoint. Yes, but
Mm.
let's send our happy birthday wishes to Mercedes Monet, who turns 31 years old today.
Oh wow.
Yes, happy birthday to her.
Okay. Happy
And
birthday.
happy belated birthday to Maurice, who just turned 40 years old this past weekend.
She's 40.
Yeah, she is 40, bro. The Bella
Oh,
twins are about to be 40 this year, too.
holy crap. Oh wow.
Yeah, the little reality show drops yeah, tonight, I think.
Definitely remember that. Wow.
I heard that Ric Flair backstage at the Raw 30th apologized to Becky Lynch and also made peace with Triple H.
That's good. That's the mature thing to do. I'm actually happy to hear that. That's good.
Yeah, I heard he pulled yeah, Becky aside and said, "Can I talk to you for a second?" And he said, like, I just want to say I'm sorry that it all came to this and whatnot. I want to put this behind us. And he even shook Seth Rollins' hand and said, like, I'm gonna apologize to your wife.
Okay. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, and he also made peace with Triple H. Him and Triple H talked out a lot of their issues too.
Hmm.
And he said that he's not the man anymore, that Becky Lynch is.
That's good.
Yeah, more power to him. I respect him that he actually went up and apologized. I respect that he did that.
Yeah.
Long as it was genuine and the people that he apologized to saw that it was genuine
And
also,
he did it,
that's
and
great.
also like he did it in person too. Though that's even better. So
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
But our
Yeah.
best wishes to Nikita Leons, who just announced yesterday that she has a torn ACL.
Oh damn. Fuck. She's gonna be gone for like pretty much half the year. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, it sucks. She'll be all right. She'll
Oh
come
man.
back. But
I know, no, I know, but just having her gone is gonna suck. So,
yeah, it is gonna suck for a
Oy.
lot of lonely men's wet dreams, but that's another story. Yeah, but before we get out of here, let's get back to the Rumble for real fast before we get out of here. With Austin possibly being a cameo in the Rumble match, I was hearing a rumor that they were throwing him a lot of money to do a match with Roman at WrestleMania
No.
because it came out last week that The Rock told WWE that he's not going to be able to get into the right shape to wrestle for Mania against Roman. So basically, it's not looking like the match is going to
Really?
happen. So maybe as a consolation
Hmm.
prize, they want to maybe do Roman against Austin instead.
Okay. Well, now that I'm hearing that now, does make sense. Apologies because I'm still off of social media. I will be back starting tomorrow because I gotta, it's mainly for the Royal Rumble match. So okay, yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it per se, but I feel like the Roman and Rock route would be the better story. I feel and would make the most sense.
It would, yeah, I know, but like it's pretty much due to uncircumstances.
Yeah, so
That's why.
so basically, like Rock said that he's not going to be able to wrestle at Mania because yeah, he can't because of his schedule. He can't get into the right shape for it, and it's been like 10 years since his last actual match. And he was having issues even in
Yeah,
that match. He got hurt.
it was because of Xena. He got hurt twice, Kurt,
Yeah, and that was like
and those back-to-back
and that was like
years.
10 years ago. He's older now. He's 50, and
Yeah,
yeah, for him to and you don't want him to get hurt even worse.
no,
But
no, you
but
don't.
I remember in 2018, I was hearing rumors that Ronda Rousey was going to show up at the Royal Rumble for the women's, and she's like announced it, saying she was going to be away filming a movie. She shows up at the Rumble anyway. 2020, I was hearing rumors that Edge might return in the Rumble match, and Edge denounced them, saying that it wasn't going to happen. Edge showed up in the Rumble match anyway. 2023, we're hearing rumors about The Rock and Roman and Mania, and now The Rock's saying that he can't do it, that he can't get into the right shape for it, and what have you. Does that turn out to be bullshit?
We have to wait and see, and I'm excited for it. That's all I got to say because it's the Royal Rumble is kind of like I see the Royal Rumble, Kurt, as like our New Year's Day for wrestling fans.
Yes, I would say, yeah, that to kick off to the year. And yeah, kind of like their All Star game in a sense. NBA All Star game.
Oh yeah, that's a nice reference. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, shit is going to be popping, bro. It's weird still watching it on Saturday night, but still
Yeah,
getting used to it. But yeah, I know The
yeah,
Rock said what he said, but until I don't see him show up at all at the Rumble, I'm not gonna rule it out that he shows up.
nope,
All right,
me
so
neither.
enjoy the Royal Rumble this Saturday, and for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of the Clash of the Champions, and shit is about to get popping because it's gonna be WrestleMania season in full effect.
Indeed, let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, let's do it. Take care, guys.